Hey guys, Helen Hartsmith here again from the Heart of the Witch's Path YouTube channel. Hope you're having a good day. I am. I get to be outside and spending some time with you guys today, so it's great. So I'm here to film another video response for the 2018 YT Pagan Challenge. This is for the letter O, this particular video. And so when I think of the letter O, I think of something that some people may not consider pagan, I guess. It's a relatively new concept to me. I learned about it a few years ago from some of my coven sisters, and this subject is organite. So I feel like I need to say first and foremost that I'm not an authority when it comes to organite. I'm kind of a neophyte at it. I only excuse me, I only have a couple of pieces. But as I said, I was introduced to the idea a few years ago by a couple of my coven sisters, and I think I've seen some really interesting results using the pieces that I have. So I figured, you know, that was the first thing that I thought of when I thought of, oh, so let's just talk about it, okay? So if you're not familiar with what organite is, I'm gonna try to explain it as best as I can, and I actually have a sheet of some crib notes here in front of me. So if you see me kind of looking down or whatever, I'm looking at these notes. So organite is an object that is made from resin, metals, specifically metal shavings, and some people say like quartz only, but gems, you know, stones, crystals. You use those three things basically because other people use other things as well, and you'll see that when I show you the pieces that I have. But you use, you know, at least these kind of three things, and you make an object, and its intent is to balance and harmonize bioenergy. Bioenergy is known by a lot of different names. So organ is a name that's specifically linked with organite, as I understand it, but you may know it as prana or chi, that bioenergy that inhabits everything, kind of. So organite is meant to balance things. It's used as a balancing tool. So organite was developed by a doctor named Wilhelm Reich, who was an Austrian psychiatrist. And what he did was he researched orgone energy, and this was in the earlier half of the 20th century. And today's organite devices are built on his research, basically, his findings. So while conducting research, Dr. Reich found that organic materials attract and hold orgone energy, while non-organic metals simultaneously attract and repel the negative. Simultaneously attract and repel the energy. So what that essentially is doing is it's attracting and repelling in an attempt to balance things out. Okay, are you with me so far? I hope I'm with myself. So organite is based on these two principles. It's a 50-50 mix of a resin, and this is a what we use is, and what I've seen has always been like a clear resin that I should say is available for purchase at, I think, most craft stores. I think my coven sister normally finds it at Michael's. And so this resin, you mix it with an activator, and that's what activates it to harden, because it comes in a liquid state, what she purchases. Okay, so it's based on a 50-50 mix of this resin, which is considered organic material due to the fact that it's based on petrochemicals. Okay, and it stinks, So you want to do, if you're going to get into something like this, I suggest you do a lot of research, and I suggest you plan on doing it outside. And then the 50-50 mix is the resin and metal shavings, which is considered inorganic material. Okay. A quartz crystal is also used and added to the organite mix, and this is because it's because of its properties. We all know that quartz crystal enhances things. It draws energy, and because of the points, it actually helps to direct energy. But like I said, you can use other stones, not just quartz. So, but quartz is just a really popular one that people use. Okay. Due to the fact that the elements contained in organite are constantly attracting and repelling different energies, there's a scrubbing action that happens during this process. And along with the charge that the crystal, like the quartz crystal, gives, it cleans stagnant and negative energy and brings it back to a healthy and vibrant state. So that's what happens when it balances. Now, some of the research that my coven sister, because she actually did like a class for us, which was really, really interesting. She talked a lot about, there are folks out there, and I'm not a scientist, so I don't really have, any scientific background to say yay or nay. But it's the belief that we live in a world where we have, everybody's got a cell phone anymore, and we have towers for cell phone use and for TV use, and there's a lot of signals, and there's a lot of those things that are going on in our atmosphere, and so those things have a tendency to affect us in our physical bodies in a not so positive way. And so a lot of people will actually make these organite pieces, and they will put them at the base of these towers in hopes of kind of canceling out that negative, for lack of a better word, energy, and kind of transforming it into positive energy that our bodies can more easily use. Again, I'm not an expert on this. I'm just kind of giving you my understanding of things, okay? So there are some really interesting benefits for working with organite. And so, and these effects can kind of differ from person to person. And some feel the energy like straight away, and some it's more of a cumulative a thing. And I think that that's true with working with any kind of energy. Some people have like a natural ability to work with energy and feel it and are sensitive to it, and some people aren't. So just kind of bear that in mind if you are interested in introducing organite into your home and your practice and things. The most commonly reported effects of organite are better sleep and vivid dreams. So if you're working on dream magic or lucid dreaming or things like that, this might be something that's interesting to you. It's also supposed to help with giving us more energy. When you're cleaning the energy around you and making it, more harmonious, then of course you're going to feel more energy. Balanced moods are another benefit that can happen with organite. Decreased sensitivity to EMFs and electromagnetic, I don't remember exactly what that is, but that is the energy that's coming off the towers, okay, or EMFs. I'm sure there's lots of folks out there that know way more about this than me, so if you want more information, definitely kind of check that out. But it also affects our spiritual and psychological growth and helps that to happen. It's also supposed to increase resistance to illness. Now, we have to give the little footnote here. It doesn't replace a doctor, but it can help with things, okay? It can increase. We'll see. So there are other uses for what are some uses for organite? So you can use it to deepen your meditation. You can use it to boost plant growth. You can use it to remove negative energy in a specific place, and you can use it to strengthen your intentions and visualizations. So there's definitely some effects that you can look at for magical purposes, and that kind of brings us into the pieces that I actually have and what I use them for. So I'm not sure if I mentioned this or not, but I have 3 pieces that I've made, and so I guess I'll just show you them one by one. And I think I'm going to start with this one. So my coven sister has like this huge tote of things that she's accumulated from playing around with energy. If you're not super familiar with organite, the most traditional shape that you see in organite would be like pyramid shapes and like a cupcake shape, so that it's like a round shape where it's smaller on one side and bigger on the other, so it's almost like a disc. I've seen a lot of those. There's lots of people online that are making and selling these. There's a lot of chakra representation, so you'll see the rainbow colors of the chakra, or you might even see individuals made for each individual chakra with corresponding colors and things like that. And I've also seen like wands made too. So she's played around with buying different shapes and using and finding different things to use as molds and things like that. And so one of the I think this might be the very first piece that I made. So this is obviously it's a star shape. I'm trying to make sure that you can see everything that's kind of going on in here. So this is actually a flat shape, and I made this with a specific purpose in mind. Of course, the star reminds me of the pentacle and pentagram because of the shape there. And you can see the different layers, because one thing that you do when making organite is you kind of do things in layers, or things would all just kind of seep together and make a big blob. It's a good thing to see the layers. So you see the metal shavings in there. So what you'll notice straight away that there is a stone here, and that it's wrapped in copper wire. Copper is a very popular metal to use in organite because it helps to conduct things. So this is actually a piece of kunzite. No, it's not kunzite, it's kyanite. This is a piece of blue kyanite. I always have to think about it when I say both of them. So that is in the one tip. You can't really see the other, you can right here. In each of the other points, I put a small quartz point. So in each, there's 4 of those. And these are to help with, energy direction and things like that. And you'll also see in the center, there are 5 little copper BBs. So again, that is for conduction purposes. And you'll also notice it's red. So there is red glitter. Yes, I know glitter is the herpes of the crafting world. I use it only sparingly. So I used it in this. And the intent that, and you might be asking like what kind of metal shavings those are. I don't remember specifically. I think they're steel. I'm going to take a guess and I'm going to say they're steel. I'm not entirely sure. They're metal shavings. So anyhow, I made this, and I actually generally keep this at work on my desk. When I made this, I was doing a lot of magical work with water and liquids and such. And so I wanted to use this basically as a charging coaster. So I actually have this on my desk, and I have it so that the kyanite is pointed, or kunzite. See, I did it again. The kunzite is, I don't know what, it's blue. You know what I'm talking. I've got myself all confused right now. Sorry guys, I'm not usually that but anyhow, I have it so that it's pointed at me, because that is the one that I wrapped the copper around. So that was, this is the point that I intended for the positive energy, or the cleansed energy, or the harmonized energy to come out of. So I have this coaster so that it's pointed towards me, and I put my glass of water that I keep on my desk that I drink throughout the day on top of this. So it's pointing energy, it's pointing, you know, the cleansed ready energy towards me, and it's also coming up out of this and into my water and charging my water to help me be balanced and to help with things. And I have to say that I brought this home earlier in the week, and I've really kind of felt its loss on my desk. I've been a little scattered and a little work has been pretty intense this week, and so I kind of felt the missing of this. So I can't wait to go put that back on my desk on Monday. So anyhow, that's the first piece. And I think that I might have made this at the same time. I don't remember. But this it's a little square outline shape. And this is done with the same idea. I don't know if you can see any of the, there we go. That seems to be focusing in. I made this with the intent to wear it. You can definitely put a cord through this and wear it around your neck as a necklace. I want to say I can see one little black stone chip in there, and I believe that was obsidian. And then in each of these other long bits, there was a quartz piece. And this was just a piece that I figured that I could wear. And there's often been times where I've actually, even though it's square, I've put it on as a ring. And I used to carry it around with me quite often, but I've kind of gotten out of the habit lately. So that might be something that I kind of pick up and do again. So that's the second piece. And then the third piece that I have is actually something that I made with a purpose. I made this back, well, it's been over 2 years ago that I made this one. And it was right about the time when I lost my job, when the company I worked for closed. And so it was in between times of the one company closing and getting my new job, which just happened to be at the company that was like new. Anyhow, I was looking for a job, and so I was looking for something to help direct energy to help me find a job that was for my highest good. And so I made this guy. Okay, can you see it? Let's get a good angle there. So I made this with prosperity in mind, and that's why you see the shiny Lincoln penny, and that was new for that year. So yes, 2016. So it was, I purposely did it because I wanted a shiny penny, and I thought, well, if I put this year's penny, it'll help me remember when I made it. So I definitely have a quartz point running through this, and it's actually, it's unfortunately, this quartz point is a little too big for this particular mold, but it's pointing kind of straight up, and the point is here at the point of the pyramid. And you can see maybe that I wrapped that quartz point again in copper wire to help conduct that energy. And I used goldish colored metal shavings. So I believe that is brass metal shavings, because the gold reminded me of, you know, prosperity magic. I wasn't going to put gold, you know, actual gold or anything like that, but the brass was very close to it. And then of course I have green glitter, which is a color for money, prosperity, and luck for myself. And then down in the bottom here, the base of the pyramid, there's these gold toned, I think they were stones. I think they were some things, and you can see like there's a little rough point right there that is the end of the quartz kind of sticking out of the bottom. So it's not completely flat on the bottom, which I love because not everything is perfect. But these little rocks, I believe that they were They were something along the lines of for like an aquarium purpose or decorator sand type thing. And so what I did with this is I kept it on my table where I would get up every day during the time that I was off, and I would apply for jobs every morning. I would get up, get some coffee, and start looking for jobs. And so I felt that this was very beneficial in how the new job came around, because it's a very weird story that I won't go into right now. I may or may not have talked about it in another video, I don't know, but anyhow, so I made this for that purpose. And now that I have the job, I actually keep this on my earth altar. So if I ever need it again, I can pull it out for that purpose. And meanwhile, it's hanging out on my earth altar and keeping that prosperity and luck kind of, you know, energy attracted to my life, basically. So there's organite. I hope that I explained it in a way that you can, you know, if you didn't know anything about it, you're intrigued. And if you knew something about it, I hope I didn't butcher it. But that's my understanding of how organite works. And I think it's interesting. I think, like I said, I'm not a scientist, so I don't understand all of the scientific principle behind it, but I definitely understand the magical law of attraction and the balancing of energy aspects of it. So I can definitely get behind those ideas. And we're actually going to be doing another session of organite as a coven. We're going to get together and play with some more organite. So if you're interested in me sharing any new pieces, then let me know. So that's going to be it for this video. If you liked it or learned something from it, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel. We like to have you come back and check what's up. So if you've heard of organite, and if I left something super important out, definitely let me know in the comments below. I don't know everything, and so it's definitely an opportunity to share additional information. If you've worked with organite, I would love to hear your experiences with it, so let me know that too. If you would like to email me, of course, you can always do so at heartofthewitchespath@yahoo.com. And I invite you to check out Instagram, which is Heart of the Witches Path, and the Facebook page. So thanks for watching. Thanks for walking the path for a little while with me. Until next time, blessed be.